Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Neva with Neva Lines. Today I have the fabulous Laura Palker on our program, and she's going to, I like to let individuals really introduce themselves because they could do a better justice than I can. So, Laura is going to introduce herself to you. What I can say off the top, she's into the trade show business, and I find that extremely exciting. So, Laura, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, first and foremost, Dr. Neva, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be on your show, and more so to be able to talk about trade shows. I have been in the industry for more than 3 decades, and I had to double check my timeline and make sure that I was old enough for that. But the answer did come up, yes. I have worked in the live events industry, specifically in trade shows, working to grow companies using this method of marketing for more than 30 years, and have had some phenomenal results. There is a method to the madness, and I'm hoping to share a little bit about that with you today. I am the founder and CEO of Trade Show Solution Center. We are in business for 20 years. I am a judge on a juried panel of judges for the Global Eventex Awards. I have worked as the founder and president, and continue to on that journey and helping our industry for the Exhibition and Events Workforce Development Federation. And in my spare time, I have worked with the Moxie Mentoring Foundation, 100 Women Who Care About Long Island. I am a recent author of the book, How to Build Your Future with Confidence, to reinvent, rebuild, and reimagine a profitable business. We are hosting the Thrive 2023 conference May 9th here at the Melville Marriott on Long Island, to bring the subject matter experts to small businesses to help them to be able to overcome their challenges, get expert advice, and to be able to grow, because that's what we need as our small businesses to prosper and be successful in order to heal our economy. So excited to be in these times, working as an entrepreneur and to help businesses to grow.
Thank you so much, Laura. I plan to be at that event that you're having. It is, again, in May 9th, correct?
May 9th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we have spaces available for people who would like to sponsor. We have a sponsor showcase. And that can be for exhibiting, as well as getting more exposure, advertising, PR, and be able to invite guests, complimentary guests along the way. So very, very excited that you will be a part of that conference. And I cannot let a minute go by without saying thank you so much for being a part of the Women's International Day that you hosted. It was a life changer. And I actually brought my daughter, and she came away so inspired by that gathering of powerful women and the messages that were delivered. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for being a great part of it. And you played many different roles, and I so much appreciate you for doing this. So, Laura, one thing I want to ask you, you chose a path, and I don't think many, and I could be wrong, you let me know. I don't know if there are many females are in the role of trade shows, maybe now, but I don't know. You tell me, why did you choose this career path for yourself?
Well, I actually have been a little bit outside of the box all of my life, I guess. After my first job of babysitting, I actually went to work in the tobacco fields. My first job in high school was picking tobacco. And in East Windsor, Connecticut, where I grew up, we were famous for providing the best wrappers for the Cuban cigars. So working in the farm was a very interesting experience. It taught me how to work on piecework. So what you give out is what you get back. And then I inspected airplane engines once I finished high school by working with United Technologies, and I started to learn blueprints and manufacturing specifications and working with tight tolerance gauges and bull gears, and learning how to do quality control checks on threads and different bolts and gears in the oil box of an airplane engine. So fascinated by the airplane engine was just extraordinary, and always having a thirst for education. I began to build mastermind groups when the book that John Nesbitt wrote called Megatrends. So unbeknownst to me, as my daughter says sometimes, I was one of the pioneers who invented networking. And so I just had a fascination for sharing information and ideas. And one of our members owned an exhibit company during the AT&T divestiture, where they were deemed a monopoly and forced to break up into smaller companies. And so here was this company that lost $6 million in business overnight. And, we have to think about, what does that mean? How many families does that affect? How many people depended upon their jobs to put food on their tables and feed their families and provide education? And so the owner asked me if I would come and help him reorganize the company. And I was so fortunate to learn by the masters of the industry, those who were true artisans, that worked on their father had worked on the World's Fair in 1933. And this was 3 generations of exhibit builders and marketers. And I worked with them and turned the company around in 2 years to a profitable business, and then drank the Kool-Aid, because the idea of being able to look at the unique selling proposition of a company, understand their strategic goals, and then to design a mobile brand experience to put on a trade show floor for 4 or 5 days, and for them to be able to build their brand, develop leads, and then to fill their pipelines for their sales teams, and so that they could convert those leads into sales and to business, was just fascinating to me. It was a faster path to success, because the trade show environment is a very niche market. So your organizers go and they cull through and vet through the mass general public and bring in one place, 3 to 4 days, the decision makers and people that are specific to your target market. Now, people say trade shows are expensive, but when you can get that optimum level of exposure for 3 or 4 days to deliver your brand, rather than going to take 3 or 4 years and pay staff to knock on doors and make cold calls, you'll find it's quite an economical approach and a fast track to growth. So that's what I did early on in various industries, the toy fair, building jewelry. I worked on Mastaloni pearls and Damiani diamonds from Italy, and being able to work with facility managers and work with security and IT. And I had the opportunity, before I opened my own business, to do CA World in the US and China, and work with such fascinating people and so skilled, so creative. So, I mean, think about it. We build cities in 2 or 3 days and take them down and move them to the next location. So
Definitely.
it's a very um, highly skilled workforce that is committed to the deadline. I've traveled to Milan and to Frankfurt, Germany, and we've got clients from the UK and Canada. I did a proposal in my 30s. I did a proposal in Hong Kong dollars, which was quite fascinating. You learn that you need to close your contract on the day that's very advantageous to the market and how much the dollar is equal to at that particular moment in time. So it's been a huge learning curve. It's been a huge opportunity to see innovation and R&D pipelines. It's been great success in being able to see how excited companies are when they take their ideas and turn them into tangible solutions, and the productivity is so beyond the pale that I really have just been in love with this industry every single day, and have really made it my mission now to establish us as a recognized industry in our government, and to be able to answer your question, get more women involved in the industry, because we are naturals at it. And most of us in the industry stumbled into the industry. We had no idea it existed. And so I am on a mission to build awareness about career opportunities. You know, when I started in this business, I was a single mom. And this industry, besides building great friends around the world, has offered me an opportunity to own a business that my daughter works with me in, to be able to buy a home, to be able to eventually, I was married again, and am going to be celebrating my 20th anniversary at the end of this year in
Awesome.
November. But
Congrats.
thank you. But it gave me a path that allowed me to be a confident woman, a woman, an accomplished woman, and to be able to provide a wonderful, wonderful path for my child in this industry.
Awesome, Laura. You know what? This is an exciting career. I'm here just imagining the doors that's been opened because of what you have done, and the doors that you've been able to travel through because of what you're doing. But just like anything else, it took a hit, right? So this is before the pandemic. So during the pandemic, what happened to this industry? And coming out of the pandemic, what's going on with the industry? Can you shed a little light on that for us?
So during the pandemic, we were completely shut down and we couldn't do takeout. So we had over 12 million people who all of a sudden their livelihood was taken away from them. And we are a resilient and resourceful lot. However, it did hit us hard. Even myself, I spent 20 years building a business, and I lost 90% of my business overnight. And so I did, I thought, well, this is a good time for me to clean up. So I would go through files, and I had myself about, a one-day pity party about all of it was left in shambles.
Just one day?
And just one day. And
Okay.
then I turned around and I said, I'm not going down. And all I have to do is stand up. And so a part of that was one, reaching out to my colleagues across the country, talking to them, we did write the book. 11 of my professional business colleagues got together and we wrote the book during the pandemic. I went to school to understand and learn technology and virtual events. And we began to expand our offerings and understanding how we could get our clients to not worry about the technology and get back to the why question. Why are you doing this? And what do your sponsors want? And leave the technology to us. And then I started a nonprofit organization, the Exhibition Events Workforce Development Federation. And that was designed to connect the people in the live events industry, to advocate for them, to support them, and to rebuild our workforce. And so I have been busy for the last 2 years on, we built a 49-foot triune quad-X trailer, and we've had it in Washington, D.C., in City Center for Global Exhibition Day. We then went to Maryland to the Mobile Learning Labs conference, where we spotlighted our industry and our trailer. And then we went on to Councilmember Green. He was so gracious and invited us during the Democratic Municipalities Organization annual Board of Directors meeting. He invited us to bring the trailer on the north apron of City Hall in Philadelphia, where we got to speak to people all across the country and let them know that there was thousands and thousands of businesses and gig workers and independent contractors that made up this industry, and that the venues were really only the halls, that they did not set up the exhibits and take them down as many people thought, that these were graphic artists and designers and cleaning crews and florists and caterers that all came together to make the magic happen. And so we got to be clear about our industry and about our timelines and about the jobs that we had. In just the B2B side, we're responsible for $397 billion in direct spending and $130 billion in tax revenue. So telling that story offered us the opportunity then to bring the trailer onto our industry's standard of excellence to Expo, the International Association of Exhibition and Events organization show. And that opened up doors of opportunity for us in such a big way. And at the end of this month, we'll be bringing that trailer to Exhibitor Live, where all of the corporate America's trade show coordinators and managers come together for certification and training on how to make trade shows work for their businesses.
Nice. Laura, I want to let you know, I actually bought the book online, your book, and through Dr. G. So I've read her chapter already, and I'm still reading it, but very good. And I love the fact that you included others to share their story, their expertise in that book. So, Laura, it's such a pleasure to have you here. Do you have any takeaways that you would like the audience to know about you or what you're doing?
So this is a phenomenal industry, and you probably never heard about it, but if you've been to a concert, you've been to the theater, you've been to a sales training, you've been to a meeting, you've been to, or maybe you've gone to a trade show, there's a huge opportunity and a great career path. So if you're interested, please visit us at www.ee-wdf.org. And if you have children who might be interested in a career path in the arts, and that can learn skills that are transferable, we would love to be able to bring them into our apprenticeship programs that we're starting this month.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Laura. And the link will be below. So thank you again. And it's such a pleasure to have you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.